that it take place in June next year, probably at the latest, to reduce the fire hazard also.
That was our original intent before the lightning strikes, so we're way behind schedule, but that was our original goal, was to clean up for fire season, yes.
Supervisor.
And Tom, thanks for that. The other thing is that having been an employee a long time ago for the Census Bureau and having a district in which there are allegations of massive undercounting for the last couple of censuses, I'd like to be kept in that loop, or perhaps even meet with the group if that's appropriate, in terms of seeing what we can do in the really rural, perhaps paranoid parts of my district.
Right.
There are such places.
I wasn't counted in the last census, but I think it was on purpose.
Must be that paranoid section.
Well, I think that we particularly need all of the partners out there. That's why our community collaboration group will be out there, and we'll be trying to have some strong efforts with our Native American population and our Hispanic populations, and make sure we count everybody this time, including those living back in the hills. And I think it's a non-intrusive survey, so I think we'll have better results this time.
You know, back to this NCRA cleanup, I think it's a great idea. There's massive amounts of old metal and whatnot throughout the whole right-of-way. That's actually probably, I've spoke to you before, David, it's a real resource. It'd be a revenue for the railroad if they would just give, like, somebody in the junk business access to go in and get. I mean, you don't go any place, even up in my area, you don't go a quarter of a mile before on the railroad before you see all kinds of metal, which is, you know, and even old ties and everything that are just laying there rotting, and the creosote going in the river that could be salvaged for different uses if they would kind of make a deal with people that are in that business.
Yeah, and it's been brought up, and our operator has some concerns about that happening. I mean, it's being worked out with him because he's concerned about people coming onto his operational territory.
Well, it would have to be in conjunction with the operator, no doubt about that.
And that's something that, given the resources that are pretty thin, that has to be worked out. But he calls it independent of what the, pretty much independently of what the.
But I guess what I'm talking about is
does.
like the Eel River Canyon area where there's massive amount of old cars and everything. There's probably no talk about opening up that could be salvaged.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Trying to herd them cats, folks. Come on. Supervisor Smith.
Thank you. On the census issue, I would like to really encourage that we spend as much staff time as we need to. I was involved in the 2000 census from the federal standpoint. I think that there were some real concerns with both how it was orchestrated from the census side, but also the community response not being quite what it could have been. And so much of our future dollars for a 10-year period depends on that count. And so I think it really behooves us to be very proactive and get going on that as much as possible, because any undercounts, you know, are to our disadvantage. So thank you.
Okay. One last item in business appointments, commissions.
Yes, Supervisor.
Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Noyo Harbor District, I would like to recommend for appointment Robert Bob Armitage. He is currently the Vice Chair of the Noyo Harbor District. This is a joint appointment between the City of Fort Bragg and the Supervisors, and he served for a long, long period of time, and he will be relieving our past Chair, Don Bradley, who served over a 30-year period. So I would like to recommend this, and then we can let the City of Fort Bragg know that we have given our approval for that appointment, and they'll be taking it up at their next meeting. So I make that
That's
motion.
a motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Pass unanimously.
Also, I'd like to recommend Retirement Board appointment Bob Murata. He's served very actively and diligently for this last term, and I think that we ought to continue his service on the Retirement Board.
Okay, motion and a second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. Any others?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Community Development Commission, 3rd District, Rogelio Hernandez.
That's a motion?
Second.
Second.
Supervisor Dober. And discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
And also Civil Service Commission, 3rd District, Ron Ornstein, that's a reappointment.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And motion passes unanimously. In regards to Civil Service Commission, 2nd District, Terry Popolowski, to the County Council. They can continue to serve until an appointment is made for replacement, correct?
Right.
Okay, my thought is, my term expires in less than 3 months. I would like to leave that person in place and allow for the new supervisor to appoint their own appointee. So I would like to just not take any action on this, allow Terry to continue to serve till the end of the year. Thereby, his term or that person's term coincides with the new member. So no action on that. So one last thing, any legislative report, Mr. CEO? Okay.
The only comment I would make in Paul's absence is what I was told by all of the career staffers in that day I was in Washington, D.C., is prepare for another economic stimulus packet coming up in the next session. And those of you that have projects that are ready, sitting on the shelf, ready to go, they will possibly get funded. So the goal here is that we're going to be talking to